reading the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there lived a little girl. Who lived?
Little girl.
Little girl. Her name was Red Riding Hood. What was the name of the little girl?
Red Riding Hood.
Good. She was called Red Riding Hood because she wore a red hood. Why she was called Red Riding Hood?
Because she wore a red hood.
One day, her mother said, Red Riding Hood, I want you to go to see your grandmother. Who said?
Her mother.
Her mother. Red Riding Hood, I want Red Riding Hood to go to grandmother's house. Okay? Take her this little basket. Take her
This little basket.
this little basket. I have put in it a pat of butter and a slice of cake. These two things she has put in the basket for the grandmother. Don't stop on the way. Don't stop on. Just go straight to your grandmother's house. She meant to say that. Okay? Don't run, for you might fall and drop the basket. And if you will run, then what will know? The basket will also fall down.
Yes.
You will also fall down and the basket will also fall down. So don't run. Be sure to say good morning to anyone you meet. And in the way, if you meet anyone, then say good morning to him. Okay? I will do just as you tell me. I will do just as you tell me, said Red Riding Hood. Then away she went with her little basket. Grandmother's house was in a wood. Where was the grandmother's house?
In a wood.
Very good. Soon Red Riding Hood came to the wood. Where she came?
In a wood.
Very good. There she met, what do you mean by wood?
Forest.
Very good. Then she met an old wolf. Red Riding Hood did not know he was a wicked old wolf. He was not kind, he was very wicked. Kind, you understand?
Yes.
But he was wicked.
Wicked.
She was not a bit afraid of him. But she was not afraid of him. Good morning, Mr. Wolf, she said. Because her mother said, when you go, if anyone you meet, to say good morning. So she is saying good morning. Good morning, Red Riding Hood, said the wolf. The wolf also replied her, okay, good morning. Where are you going? He asked. I am taking this basket to my grandmother, she said. What did she say? I am taking this?
Basket
Huh?
to my grandmother.
Very good. Where does your grandmother live, Red Riding Hood?
My
Who asked? Who asked? Who asked this question?
An old wolf.
An old wolf. Very good. He asked, where does your grandmother live, Red Riding Hood? A long way. A long way from here in the wood, she said. What did she say? She said, my grandmother lived
A long
way. Long way.
long way from here.
Don't
in the
say
wood.
along. Don't say like this.
Ah.
A long way from here. Yes. Her house stands near three large oak trees. Oak trees, they have got many branches hanging down on the ground. This is oak is such type of a tree, a very old tree, and its branches are all hanging on the ground. Understand?
Yes.
Her house stands near three large oak trees. Near my grandmother's house, she said, that there are three oak trees. Goodbye, I must be going, said the wolf. Now what wolf said? Okay, goodbye, I'm going now. Goodbye, Mr. Wolf, said Red Riding Hood. The wolf ran quickly through the wood. He came to Red Riding Hood's grandmother's house. What did he do? He went to her grandmother's house. But grandmother was not at home. The door was open and the wolf crept softly in. Very quietly he went in. He saw grandmother's nightcap on the bed. When the people sleep, they wear a cap in the night. So that nightcap of grandmother was on the bed. So what did he do? He saw grandmother's nightcap on the bed. Quickly he tied it on his wicked old head. He tied it on his head. You can see it in the pic. Then he jumped into grandmother's bed. Soon he heard Red Riding Hood singing along the path. Soon he heard that Red Riding Hood is also reaching along the path. She rapped at the door, means tap, just like this. The wolf cried out in a big gruff voice, who is there? Who cried this? Who is there? Say.
Who is there?
It is Red Riding Hood with a basket for you, dear grandmother. Red Riding Hood replied to her grandmother. She was not thinking a wolf is here. She was thinking about her grandmother. Open the door and come in, said the wolf. So Red Riding Hood opened the door and went in. She did not know that it was the wolf under the clothes. The wicked wolf had pulled the nightcap down over his face. Oh, grandmother, what great ears you have! The better to hear you, my dear, said the wolf. When she said, how long ears you have got, so he said, "Okay, it is better to hear you. And what great eyes you have, the better to see you, my dear, said the wolf. And grandmother, what great hands you have, the better to hold you, my dear. I want to hold you like this. Then Red Riding Hood began to be afraid. Oh, grandmother, what great teeth you have. Now she is starting afraid. In the beginning, she was not afraid, but when she saw all these things, the hands were so big with the nails, then she just became afraid. Oh, grandmother, what great teeth you have! The better to eat you, cried the wolf. Then he jumped out of the bed and ran at the little girl. Just then, a woodman with an axe means what? This type of axe, was passing the house. He heard Red Riding Hood crying. He ran quickly into the room with one blow of his axe. Below, just like this. How? Like this. He killed the wicked old wolf. When grandmother came home, she was happy to find Red Riding Hood safe and well. She was safe. Safe and well. Wolf was dead, and now the girl was safe.
Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time there lived a little girl. Her name was Red Riding Hood. She was called Red Riding Hood because she wore a red hood. One day her mother said, Red Riding Hood, I want you to go to see your grandmother. Take her this little basket. I have put in it a pat of butter and a slice of cake. Don't stop on the way. Don't run, for you might fall. And be sure to
And drop the basket.
and drop the basket. Be sure to say good morning to anyone you meet.
Good.
I will do just as you tell me, said Red Riding Hood. Then away she went with her little basket.
Good.
Grandmother's house was in a wood.
Very good. Soon Red Riding Hood
Red Riding Hood came to the wood.
came.
To the wood.
Yes.
There she met
There she met an old wolf. Good.
Red Riding Hood did not know he was a wicked old wolf.
Yes.
She was not a bit afraid of him. Good morning, Mr. Wolf, she said. Good morning, Red Riding Hood, said the wolf. Where are you going? He asked. I am taking this basket to my grandmother, she said. Where does your grandmother live, Red Riding Hood? A long way from here in the wood. She said her house stands near three large oak trees. Goodbye, I must be going, said the wolf. Goodbye, Mr. Wolf, said Red Riding Hood.
Yes.
The wolf ran quickly
Through the wood.
through the wood.
Huh?
He came to Red Riding Hood's grandmother's house.
Yes.
But grandmother was not at home. The door was open and the wolf crept softly in. He saw grandmother's nightcap on the bed. Quickly he tied it on his wicked old head. Then he jumped into the grandmother's house. Soon he heard Red Riding Hood singing a long part. She rapped the path.
She rapped at the door.
She tapped at the door.
हाँ.
The wolf cried out in a big, gruff voice, "Who is there?
Who is there?
Who is there?"
हाँ.
"It is Red Riding Hood with a basket for you, dear grandmother.
Good.
Open the door and come in," said the wolf. So Red Riding Hood opened the door and went in.
Good.
She did not know that it was the wolf under the clothes.
Hmm.
The wicked wolf had pulled the knife cap down over his face.
हाँ.
Oh grandmother, what great ears you have! The better to hear you,
The better to hear you.
the better to hear you, my dear, said the wolf.
हाँ.
And what great eyes you have! The better to see you, my dear,
हाँ.
said the wolf. And grandmother, what great hands you have! The better to hold you, my dear. Then Red Riding Hood began to be afraid.
हाँ.
Oh, grandmother, what great teeth you have! The better to eat you.
What great teeth you have. हाँ.
What? The better to eat you, cried the wolf.
हाँ.
Then he jumped out of bed and ran at the little girl.
Yes.
Just then a woodman with an axe,
With an axe. Don't say
with an axe,
this is vowel. है. हाँ.
was passing the house.
Yes.
He heard Red
He
Riding-
heard.
He heard
Here heard. हाँ. He
he
heard.
heard Red Riding Hood crying.
हाँ.
He ran quickly into the room. With one blow of his axe, he killed a wicked wolf.
He killed the wicked old wolf. He killed the wicked old wolf. Say it again.
He killed the wicked old wolf.
Yes.
When grandmother came home,
Came.
home, she was happy to find Red Riding Hood safe and well.
Good.